Welcome to English literature class, my dear students of class 11th. You studied the poem John Brown by Dylan. You must note down some important sentences that may be keywords for the examination. The poet thinks that the war is a futile thing. The poem shows how callous, terrible, and futile a war could be. War is a useless thing. Wars are fought for inexplicable causes, mostly due to some ego problems. Soldiers are used as pawns. They are sent to battlefield to fight the enemy. The soldiers are sent to battlefields to fight the enemy. They fight but know nothing about what they are fighting for. They do not know for what causes the war is being fought and what is the use of it. They fight, they do their duty, but know nothing. They are unaware about what they are fighting for. Most of them come back home with broken bodies. This is what the story of John Brown tells us. I already told you that this is ballad, a poem which is written in the form of a story. In order to satisfy his mother's ambition, John Brown goes off to war. It is during the war that he realizes the futility of war. The war is worthless. The enemy soldier he confronts is in no way different from him. He was alike him. He confronts the enemy. He sees there that there is no way different from him. He feels a natural link of humanity with him. He feels a natural link of humanity with him. This reminds us of the poem The Man He Killed by Thomas Hardy, which presents a similar situation. John Brown by Dylan is in the tradition of anti-war poems. However, it is strange that the poet once denied that he expressed any anti-war sentiments in the poem. The poem is the unpredictability of life. John Brown's mother wants her son to emerge as a war hero and win lots of medals so that she could be proud of him. For some time she feels that her dream had come true. But the irony of fate is that her son wins a lot of medals, but he has to pay a heavy price for it. He loses his eyesight and his face gets badly disfigured. This was all about the poem John Brown's. You study it well, and if there is any problem, please ask me. Thank you so much, students. Good morning, my dear students of class 10th. Start from line number 275. This video is for those who have not attended the class, live class. Start from here, line number 275, the speech of Antonio. But little I am armed and well prepared. But little, very little, I am armed and well prepared. I am ready and well prepared. I am ready and well prepared. Give me your hand, Bassanio. Bassanio, give me your hand. Fare you well. I bid you farewell. Fare you well. I bid you farewell. Grieve not that I am fallen to this for you. Bassanio, do not grieve. Do not feel sorry that I am going to die. I am fallen to this for you. I am going to die because of you. For herein fortune shows herself more kind than in her custom. He says, for in this instance, fortune treats me more kindly. My fortune treats me, behaves me more kindly than she usually does. She means here fortune. It is her custom. क्या custom है? What is the custom? It is her custom. It is still her use to let the wretched man outlive his wealth, to view with hollow eye and wrinkled brow an age of poverty. He says, it is her custom to let the poor man live after his wealth is lost, so that his hollow eyes and wrinkled face show his state of poverty. Show his state of poverty. She has spared me from such a prolonged suffering, from which lingering penance of such misery doth she cut me off. Of such misery doth she cut me off. She has spared me from such a prolonged suffering. Commend me to your honorable wife. Convey my regard to your honorable wife. Tell her the process of Antonio's end. Tell me. First of all, commend me to your honorable wife. Convey my regard to your honorable wife. Tell her the process of Antonio's death, and tell her the manner of Antonio's death. How Antonio's died. How Antonio died. You tell her. Say how I loved you. Speak me fair in death. Say her. Tell her how much I loved you, and speak well of me after my death. Speak well of me after my death. And when the tale is told, bid her be judge whether Bassanio had not once a love. After telling her everything, ask her to judge and say whether or not Bassanio had a loving friend. Repent not you that you shall lose your friend, and he repents not that he pays your debt. He says, you must only regret, you must only feel sorry, you must only regret the loss of a friend. For I have no regrets in paying your debt. I have no regrets in paying your debts, for if the Jew do cut but deep enough, I'll pay it instantly with all my heart. He says, if the Jew cuts deep enough with his knife, if the Jew cuts deep enough, I will immediately pay the debt with all my heart. I will immediately pay the debt with all my heart, instantly. Bassanio says, and Antonio, I am married to a wife which is as dear to me as life itself. But Antonio, I am married to a wife who is as dear to me as my own life. But life itself, my wife, and all the world are not with me esteemed above thy life. He has become very emotional. He says, but my life, my wife, and the whole world are not considered by me to be of greater value than your life. Your life is more important. Its life is greater value than my life, my wife, and the whole world. I would lose all, sacrifice them all here to this devil to deliver you. I would lose them all. I would lose them all. They means Bassanio's own life, his wife, and the whole world. He would lose them all, sacrifice every one of them to this devil to save you. To save you. Portia says, your wife would give you little thanks for that if she were by to hear you make the offer. She says, your wife would thank you very little for that offer if she were present to hear making such an offer. Gratiano says, I have a wife whom I protest I love. I would she were in heaven so she could entreat some power to change this cursed Jew. I have, he also, Gratiano also becomes very emotional. He says, I have a wife whom I swear I love. But I wish that she were dead and in heaven so that she could plead, she could request with some heavenly power to change this cruel Jew. To change this cruel Jew. To change the mind of this cruel Jew. Nerissa says, it's well you offer it behind her back. It's well you offer it behind her back. The wish would make else an unquiet house. It is as good that you make this offer when your wife is not present. It is good that you make this offer when your wife is not present, though she is present over there. Otherwise, your wish would interrupt the peace in your household. The peace of your house would be lost. Shylock says, these be the Christian husbands. Such are these Christian husbands. I have a daughter. Would any of the stock of Barabbas had been her husband rather than a Christian? I have a daughter. I wish she had married to one in the family of Barabbas, a notorious criminal rather than to a Christian. Rather than to a Christian. Aside, with trifle time, I pray thee, pursue sentence. But we are wasting time. I request you to pronounce the sentence. I request to the court to pronounce the sentence. Portia says, a pound of that same merchant flesh is thine. The court awards it, and the law doth give it. A pound of this merchant's flesh is yours. The court awards it to you, and the law sanctions it, grants it. Shylock says, most rightful judge, Portia, and you must cut this flesh from off his breast. And you have to cut this flesh from his chest. The law allows it, and the court awards it. The law allows it, permits it, and the court sanctions it, grants it. Shylock says, most learned judge, a sentence, come, prepare. He says to Antonio, come, prepare yourself, Antonio, come. He asks Antonio to be ready, as he wanted to cut 1 pound of flesh from his chest. And what happened after that, you will study in lecture number 8. This was lecture number 7. Thank you so much, students.